Welcome to SPD Fanatics. I'm your host, Keith Cunningham, and today we have a very special guest. He was born in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in St. Louis, Missouri, Hyde Park, located on the city's north side, where an estimated 2,549 violent crimes occur per 100,000 people.
It has been a violent weekend in the city of St. Louis. Police are investigating an early morning shooting in the Hyde Park neighborhood that left two teens dead, sent two more to the hospital.
Then just before 3 this morning, a woman was shot in the leg overnight in the Hyde Park neighborhood of North St. Louis. This was on Angelica Street at North 11th Street near I-70. No word of any arrests.
But despite the odds, he rose to become a four-time Silver Gloves champion, Junior Golden Gloves champion, and a Junior Olympics national champion, and a three-time world champion holding titles in the WBC and the IBF light welterweight divisions, as well as the IBF welterweight division. He's not just a champion in the ring, but also in life. Please welcome to the show, Devon Alexander, the Great.
What's up, champ? How you doing, my man? How you doing, Keith? Thanks for having me, my man.
Glad to have you, man. I'm glad to have you. It's been a long time since I've been wanting to interview you.
Absolutely.
You got so many, you got a compelling story, man. So kind of take us back to the beginning. What was it like growing up in such a dangerous area of St. Louis, especially over on the north side city of St. Louis, especially Hyde Park?
Oh man, growing up in St. Louis was a place where a kid, as I got older, I realized should not be subjected to. So I grew up around a big family, 8 sisters, 4 brothers, 5 including me, 13 brothers and sisters all together. One thing I did have my mom and dad, even though we had little, but I did have both my parents, and I think that's what made the ultimate difference in my trajectory in life. So St. Louis was an area where I can remember plain as day. We had protocols on if we were to hear gunshots. If I was to hear gunshots and if I didn't hit the floor, you're going to get in trouble. Whenever those bullets stop flying, you're going to get in trouble. And my mama we had a ritual on whenever we heard anything going on violence wise or a crackhead trying to break in our house, we had certain protocols. So it was a tumultuous upbringing for myself, man, and it made me who I am today, though. And it wasn't. I don't want to, down where I grew up, but it is the reason why I'm Devon Alexander and why I'm sitting here talking to you today. But it was rough. It was rough, champ. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was very um, traumatizing. Very. It was very. Um, I would say mentally draining to wake up knowing that any day drive-bys can happen. Any day that sometimes you don't eat. I had a ritual with that. If I knew 7 o'clock was about to hit, I knew for a fact I'm not gonna eat tonight, so I might as well take my ass to bed. So those things, it was rough, champ. It was rough growing up in St. Louis, but we just made do. Mom and dad made do, and we made it happen.
Now I know some, like, as a kid, I know it's like TV shows or different things you might see or whatever, see somebody with a different status in life or whatever. Did you ever, at that age, did you ever dream about becoming something else outside of the environment that you were in?
No, I did not because I realized if you don't see nothing but what you're surrounded by, you can only go as further as, yeah, yes, you can see things on TV. You can see young kids becoming stars on TV. But ultimately, in real life, if you don't have no success story to look at, to gravitate to say, okay, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. You're not going to reach that. So for me, I had that drive, I had that that will to want to be great. It was nothing but God. It was nothing but um, hard work, dedication is the reason why I saw an outlet in boxing.
Now, so how were you first introduced to boxing? Like, was it something you always wanted to pursue growing up? How did you get introduced to that?
So I got introduced to boxing by my coach, Kevin Cunningham. He was a police officer at my elementary school, Clay Elementary, and he brought some flyers to school one day. He said, "Hey man, I'm starting a gym." He was passing out to all the boys. I'm doing a gym, and I want you guys to come and try out. Took the flyer home to my mom. My mom did not let me go for at least 2 weeks. I was begging her to let me go. She let my brother Vaughn, my big brother, my two big brother go first, but she would not let me go for nothing. She always kept a close eye on her kids. And I thank her for that as well. She didn't let us just wander the streets. And I thank her and my dad for that. But she didn't let me go for 2 weeks. And I said, and finally she said, go ahead, she told my brother, take Devin with you, make sure y'all watch him. And the first day of boxing became the rest of my life. I can literally say the first day of boxing became the rest of my life because I never left. I fell in love with it the first day. They were saying I was smiling from ear to ear about just being in a environment that is not chaotic. Just being in a happy environment where you're around young men that's doing something positive. So that's how I got started.
Wow, man. Yeah, Coach Kevin Cunningham is an incredible coach and trainer, man. He's known for bringing out the best in his fighters. So, what was it like training at such a young age? Now, did you find it difficult to have discipline?
For me personally, I didn't because I was always a hard worker. If and when I started going to boxing, man, if I missed a day, I'd be mad. If I got sick and my mama told me I couldn't go to the gym, oh, I'd be pissed. Cause I'm like, man, I gotta go to the gym. And me as a person, when I put my eyesight on something, I want to see it through. I want to keep doing it over and over again till I accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I was always dedicated to the sport ever since I was a kid. If my friends, like to say, for instance, we got out of school, if they want to take a summer break and take off, I'm not taking off. I'm going through summer because boxers are all year round sport. So you don't take breaks in between, but my friends did. And I had that discipline to want to keep going, going, and going, and going. And you saw the results of that because when I first sparred, Terrence Barker was his name. He bloodied my nose. I mean, when I say he bloodied my nose, had me crying. I was trying to get him back. He was just kept punching me in my head, and I was just running to him. And that lit a fire in me as well too, because I want to win. I want to win. So as time went on, I kept coming, I had that discipline to keep coming. He would miss a week, I would keep coming. He would miss 2 weeks or take a break in the summer, I would keep going. And ultimately, I got that lick back and I got better and better and better in my timing. So um, I was always a disciplined person and still is, still is. I just think it's in me. You got to have that discipline in life and in everything you do. So I always had that discipline to want to be great.
Now, at that time when you was training and in the gym, at that age, if you can look back and think at that age, now, did you think that I'm going somewhere with this? I mean, this is me. This is what I want to do.
No, no. Did I look at boxing and say did I was gonna be world champion? Absolutely not. No, sir. So when I first started boxing, I didn't know anything about boxing. I didn't Google boxing and say, okay, who's the best? I want to become a boxer. Let me Google and start doing my research. No, that's not how it happened. Uh, I got wind of boxing when I first went to boxing. My first day of boxing, that's when I started to really hone in on boxing and the greats before me and who was the best at this, who was the fastest at this. And that's how I started to learn about the game. And when I first started boxing, I didn't think about, I was just thinking about doing something positive and after school I can just go have fun somewhere. Uh, Ultimately, as time went on, I started to realize, that's when I started to realize, okay, man, because I won my first national title at 9 years old. Everybody was shocked. At 9 years old, I started boxing when I was 7 years old, and I couldn't compete till I was 8 years old. I lost my first fight too. I'm gonna take you back. I lost my first fight, and I was training for about 6 months, 7 months, and um, this kid, I said, I'm not finna smash my first opponent. I'm about to smash him up. He ain't gonna have no match for me. And the fight came, the first round I came out just hard. And then ultimately, the second round I was gassed out. And that was a bad idea. Third round, so I won the first round, the two other rounds, I was gassed out. I was dead tired. So he got the nod. So I was crying. I was mad. I was like, man, I can't believe I lost in my first fight. But that really taught me a lesson about taking anybody for granted. I can really say that first fight really taught me a lot about myself and a lesson in boxing and in life, period. Not to take nobody for granted, take everything serious, and make sure you are ready and prepared every single time you get into that ring. So I started, and at 9 years old, I went to my first national tournament, which was the Silver Gloves, which is what you mentioned. Brought that back to the city. I think that was the first time I was in a newspaper too, if I'm not mistaken. That was the first time. I think three of us won the national Silver Glove when I won it the first time. And at 10 years old, I went back to the same tournament and I won it again. And then I went back and won it again, and then I won it again. So I kept winning, and then around 16, that's when I realized, I might be a bad boy. I can do it. If I'm winning all these tournaments and I'm not losing, I'm steady. And then, mind you, Keith, man, you got to fight every single day. You got to weigh in every single day. So, and that's hard. That is hard to do. Monday, you got to fight. Then you got to at least eat something so you can be strong for the fight. Then after the fight, you got to go check your weight to see if you make sure you close by your weight because you got to weigh in again. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got to fight 5 days to be able to win that national tournament. So that in itself is tough, and I was able to do that. So I realized, man, Devin, you might have some in this boxing game. So that's when I started to realize that I can be some in boxing.
Yeah, yeah. Now you had an incredibly successful amateur career. Winning, like I said, winning 6 national championships, including the junior golden gloves and junior Olympic titles. Now, did you ever consider aiming for the Olympics?
I did. I actually went to the Olympics. So around that time, I was 16, just turning 17. So I was going to be ready. I was going to be old enough to make the Olympics. Um, I went to the Olympic trials. I made the Olympic trials the first time I went. The first time I went, I got in. So I was on my way to the Olympic trial finals. And, around that time, my dad was dying. And My dad is the reason why I have so much humility in me, per se, because he always, every tournament I will win. Everybody else excited. Everybody else is just saying how good I was. Man, you did good. You did this. My dad, I could go tell my dad, look, I won it again, Dad. My dad would be like, all right, good job, Devin, man. Good job, son. But I always remember that you got more work to do. You got to stay focused, stay the course, stay zoned in. You haven't made it yet. You know, he always drilled that in my head. He was never that excited about it. He always kept me. When I come to him, I know I'm gonna get humbled back down because he said, "Look, you got more work to do. You got a lot of stuff to do in this game, and you just getting started. So make sure you stay focused, stay encouraged." And he always had that ability to help me keep going and teaching humility in myself. So uh, at 16, I made the Olympic trial. I was turning 17, and I made it to the Olympic trial finals. And I lost in the day that they decide that you gonna be going to the Olympics. I lost that Friday. That was the only thing that I regret in my career was not making it to the Olympic trials. That's every fighter's dream to make it to the Olympics. And then on top of that, my dad was dying. And because before I would say about 9 months before the Olympics started, he brought me and my brother in the room, and he said, "Hey, come here, shut the door." And he said, "Look, man, I'm dying." So I'm like, you know how you can hear something, and you like, "Hey, what are you talking about? You can hear like a little dial tone, beep, like what are you talking about, Dad? So when I came back to, I said, what are you talking about? Went to the doctor, found out I got prostate cancer, and it went through my whole body. And I'm like, what? So tears just coming down my face. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what? That was the first devastating news too of my life. Even though I grew up in St. Louis, the roughest neighborhood, that was the only time closely that I had experienced anything like that in my life. And it was devastating. So after, I calmed down and now I grasped what he was saying. I wanted to make the Olympics so bad after that. I had to do it for my daddy, and because I at the time too, I didn't realize anything too much about cancer. I didn't know, it was new to me, so I didn't know what that meant when you say he had cancer and how serious or the severity of it. I just know he told me he had prostate cancer, and it went through his whole body. Um, so I wanted to make the Olympics. I wanted to do that so bad for my dad. But I made it all the way to the finals, and I fought a guy named Rock Allen, and it was computer scoring, so you got to actually hit the guy right on the button to get a point. Somehow they said we scored the same amount of shots. You can look this up too. They got it. They got it plain as day. The score was 16-16. And they claim that he threw one more. So when it's a tie like that, they go to the punch count and to see who threw more punches. They say he threw one more punch to me, and he got the nod in the fight. And when I tell you I was hurt, going back to not to tell my dad that I didn't make it, Dad, I lost. I didn't make it. I dreaded that. I dreaded it, but he would say, "Okay, it's okay, son. We'll get it next time." So that was the one time in my life that I was dreading going home.
Man, yeah. Man, I can imagine. Now, St. Louis history is real strong in boxing. But in 2005 at the Savage Center, St. Louis made history with at the Savage Center with the was it the Gateway to Glory? I think it was Corey Spinks.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Zab Judah and Corey Spink. Yep.
To me, man, for you all's team, man, for Don King and Coach Kevin and you guys, man, to make history in St. Louis was really, I don't think people grasp that, because boxing, it's been big here, but during that particular time, it brought everybody out, everybody. And then on May 20th, 2004, you made your professional debut title at another Gateway to Glory against Vincent Torres, and you won the bout with the first round TKO. Now, how did that feel to fight, in front of your hometown and become the victor?
Oh man, it was the ultimate, man. Cause I've been yearning to fight for in my home crowd anyway. So man, it felt so amazing to fight in front of family, uh, fans that know what and they have watched me through the years rise in the ranks, watch me through news stations, um, and they found out I signed with Don King at that too. So they was excited to see my growth. So that was an amazing feeling, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a feeling that I still feel because when you came out, you can hear the love
Yeah.
of your city behind you. You got the city on your back, and you just man, you got to show out, and that's why I was able to get that first round knockout because I had to show out.
Yeah, man. We had a good time there. I went to all of them that they had here
Yes,
in St. Louis, man. It was
yes,
rocking.
sir.
Yeah, a
Oh
lot of
man, it was man. When I tell you the fight went Corey and Zab brought everybody out.
yeah,
Jay Z, Denzel came. Everybody. That
yeah,
was a 20. I think it was what they say 24,000 people packed at the Scott Trade Center.
yeah. It was
It was the Savage Center back
yeah,
then. But
yeah. It was the second largest crowd in history in an indoor event.
yes, indeed,
Yeah,
yes, indeed. That was history. We actually made history. That's why I say St. Louis is an amazing city. We just gotta know how to bring our greatest out on a big stage. That's all.
yeah, yeah. So in 2009, you defeated Junior Witter for the vacant WBC light welterweight championship. Then on October the 20th, 2012, you won the IBF welterweight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn by unanimous decision against a top 10 welterweight Randall Bailey. Now, how did it feel to raise and walk away with a third title?
Oh man, shoo. So I want to take it back a little bit. So my first world title. Um, so when I was a kid, when I went to the boxing gym at the police station, it was a picture of Azuma Nelson on the
Hmm.
wall right there, and the news station came. I remember plain as day. Bonita Cornute came to see. They wanted to highlight what was going on in the city and people doing good in the city, and I had pointed to a picture. They say, kid, what do you want? I said, I want that belt right there. Man, do you know? Fast forward 2009, that green belt that Azuma Nelson won was the first belt I fought for and
Wow.
won. Back when I was 8 years old, I said I want that belt right there. I pointed to it, and to come full circle to 2009, and then I went. That was my first world title I won. That was nothing but God. That was nothing but
Yeah,
God, man. So,
yeah.
and I slept that night too. After I won my first world title, man, I slept with my belt. I literally slept with my belt because, man, when they said WBC world champion Devon Alexander, and no, first they say and
Hmm.
the new WBC world champion Devon Alexander, man, that feeling you cannot describe at all.
Wow.
That feeling is a feeling that only fighters that's been through what I've been
Mhm.
through the ringer and through the trenches, will understand all the emotions, all the trauma of losing my friends when I was a fighter, all the trauma with, just growing up in a city that's just so violent. All the emotions came to that night. And when I tell you, I felt like I conquered the world, I conquered the world. And then afterwards, I went to my room. I slept with my belt. I woke up with a big smile, and I knew when I won that world title, my life was changed forever. It was instantly changed forever. I woke up. I had tons of calls, tons of everything, instantly. So to win three, it's look. Let me show you how hard it is. It's hard to win one world title.
Yeah.
And I tell you how hard it is because it hasn't been another champion since me since 2014. That no, 2012 is when I won my last world title, and it hasn't been a champion since me.
Wow.
So that shows you how hard it is just to win a world title, and to win three. That's
Yeah.
that's that's saying a lot, and it says how the work ethic and how bad you want it. Because boxing is a tough sport, man.
Yeah.
I'm training these young boys now, and I'm trying to teach them that you got to be consistent. You got to work your butt off. Because boxing is not an easy sport. So to win three world champions and to win, and that with a guy Randall Bailey got a right hand that will knock your head off. When
Hmm.
I tell you, and I beat him easy. I beat him easy to take his belt, and it was almost like I solidified my legacy when I won the third world title. That itself, I became a Hall of Fame fighter because
Yeah.
that's hard to do.
Mm.
One title is good, and you in the history books, you made it. Nobody can never take these away from me ever, ever. So to win three,
Yeah.
you are knocking on Hall of Famer doors. So I definitely thank God and thank everything of my work ethic that got me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I'm proud of you. That's really amazing. A lot of people don't realize how hard it takes to get to that place in life, and regardless, even outside of boxing, to accomplish something that you're aiming for, it takes hard work and
Yes,
dedication. Yeah.
that's a fact. That's a fact. I like what you just said. Even though in life you gotta work hard, even if you're not a world champion. If you want to be a lawyer, you gotta be consistent with that. You gotta go to school, then you gotta go to law school, then you gotta pass the bar. You gotta do so many things to actually become a lawyer. And the best lawyer you want to be, you got to work hard at it. You got to be resilient at it. And I just thank God that He chose me.
Yeah.
Somehow God chose me out of all these young men that I was
Mm.
around. I wasn't the best fighter in the gym. By far, I was not the best fighter in the gym. But my work ethic is what got me there. My resilience to want to be great got me there. I wasn't the best fighter. I would admit I was the most naturally gifted fighter in the gym when I first got there. But after a while though, them hands became sweet and they can deal with they couldn't deal with it. But it's it, it's you got to be special, man. You got to be something
Yeah.
special, and I just thank God that He chose me to be that person. Because I lost a lot of young men, like a lot of young men that I started boxing with, got killed. I'm gonna send you this picture too, uh,
Okay.
and it tells a story of, part of my childhood. Like, Johnny would get killed on a Monday. Next week, or a few months down the line, Willie would get killed, you know. And these are young men that I started boxing with. So to see that, you know, trauma, that's that's traumatizing, you know.
Yeah.
So I just thank God that He kept me focused. He saved me. He actually saved me from a lot of the stuff that my peers was doing. Like, say for instance, I didn't have the I didn't have that will to want to be in the game.
Yeah.
Somehow God took that out of me. I didn't understand it. God took it out of me. Um, the will to want to sell drugs, like my friends were, get out there, be on the block, be on the corner. God took that out of me. I don't know why. All of the urges that my friends had, God took that out of me. I just when I started boxing, He just had me tunnel vision in the gym, and that's all I saw. That's all for the last 30 some years. That's all I saw was boxing, and I just thank God for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. No, a lot of people just don't make it out here making different choices and making wrong choices, and a lot of people are easily influenced by others to make choices that others make that's not good for them. Thank God for keeping you and
Hmm.
instilling that purpose in you to become who you are today.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Every day, you know, I had 13 brothers and sisters. God could have said, okay, you're not gonna be the one. I'm gonna pick somebody else. Somehow he said, Devon Alexander, you big head boy, I'm gonna choose you. Come here. You gonna be that world champion. You gonna be that three. It could have been anybody. So
Mhm.
I really don't take, you know, what God done for me lightly. I really, you know, that's why I'm so humble and got so much humility, because it didn't have to be me.
Yeah.
It didn't have to, but He saw fit that I would be in this position, and so I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, you know what that remind me of? Remind me of the story of David, man. All the brothers that was strong and big, and the prophet came to the house to find the next king or whatever, and the father lined all the strong brothers up,
Yes,
just
yep,
knowing he was the one. And
yep,
no, it was the one out there tending the sheep, the one that was out in the
yes,
field, the
yes.
smallest one. That's the one he chose to be king.
Yes, that man, that's a good point. Wow. I forgot about that one. I'm gonna have to use that one. That is a good point. Wow. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's
Yeah.
exactly what
Mhm.
it was. Cause I was
Mhm.
the best. I wasn't the best fighter. I can literally say I wasn't the best fighter, the strongest fighter. You know, the
Mhm.
nasty, most nasty, gifted fighter. But I just had that work ethic
Yeah.
that they didn't have, the consistency they didn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. So who would you consider to be the toughest opponent throughout your career that you had in the ring? I know you had a lot of tough fighters.
Ooh, that's a good question. My toughest fight. I think I just told this story. That my toughest fight was against Lucas Matisse, and this was at
Mhm.
home. This was at home because around that time, I had got my first loss against Timothy Bradley,
Mhm.
and the world was waiting to see what I was going to answer back to, what I was going to come back, how I was going to look. Is he going to bounce back? You know, so and it just happened. Just so happened at this weight, I was 140. I got way too big for the weight, and I was killing myself to make 140, killing myself. This particular camp, I got to St. Louis and I was trying to lose 2 pounds. I was 2 pounds overweight and I was trying like crazy. I was starving myself. I was trying to, like, I was skinny. I had no more to lose. And, you know, a day before the weigh in, when I tell you I was weak as I was, because I didn't eat, I couldn't eat because I had to make weight. And I always pride myself on making weight. I was always a professional during my career. So I made the weight. I try to rehydrate. Of course, you're going to try to rehydrate, put all that nutrients and stuff back in you. And you know, this is Lucas Matisse, the Argentinian killer.
Mhm.
That he go be in your grill all night long, no matter what. I don't care what you do, what you throw at him, he's coming full force every single time. So the fight came. I felt good. I felt like I was rehydrated. I felt, you know, strong. I'm in front of my home crowd. They came out in full force. You know, the family arena. They came out thick um, uh, at the St. George Family Arena, and came out ready. First round, I beat him pretty easy. You know, I boxed him pretty good. Second round, I boxed him pretty good. Third round, you know, I can feel myself fatiguing fast than I usually do,
Mhm.
faster. And the fourth round came. The fourth round came. We came out. My legs start to cramp. My right leg start to cramp up. I said, "Oh shit! No, I am not in a fight where this dude is coming all night long and my leg is cramping up. No, it's not. Oh snap!" Man, when I tell you that type of fight, you cannot you cannot make no mistake. You gotta literally be on your bicycle and boxing in that whole fight. So towards the end of the fourth round, he hit me with a body shot.
Mhm.
He hit me with a body shot so hard. I said,
Mhm.
man, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I? I've been boxing my whole life. That particular fight made me like, man, what the hell am I doing here? It made me for a second. It made me have to rethink what the hell am I doing here, man. So even with a body shot, I said, oh shoot, came back. I toughed it out. So I got back on my square. The cramping went away a little bit, but it's still there. So I'm fighting. I'm fighting. Seventh round come and start cramping up again. He with another team with two body shots. That man, I was like, oh shoot. And I think when you if you go back to the fight, Roy Jones called it out. He hit me right in the solar plex right here.
Mhm.
And Roy was like, wow. Cause Roy fighter, he know that shot. He know that
Mhm.
shot when he see it. And Roy was like, whoa, that hurt him. The only way that I made it through that fight was I was at home. I was home in front of my home crowd. My
Mhm.
family was there. I could not fail in front of my family. I cannot fail in front of my family. No, sir, I cannot. I am not finna fail in front of my family. So after the seventh round, I had to muscle up the wheel. I cannot make excuses. I'm in it. In boxing, you in it. It ain't
Mhm.
nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. So all you gotta do is tough it up and tough it out and just go. So after the seventh round, I just muscled up and try to box and do what I can. I'm dead tired. I had no energy at all. None. No energy. Made it through the fight and came out with a split decision. That was my toughest fight to date. Today, I can honestly say that fight tested, do I really want to be champion tonight? Do I really want it tonight? That fight tested me right there. And they say
Wow.
all fighters gonna have that fight where
Mhm.
you gotta prove if you are what you say you are. And that was the fight for me.
So that fight was tougher than Marcos Madonna.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that Marcus Medina fight was so easy. It was so because people always ask me, "Do Marcus Medina hit hard?"
Mhm.
I don't know. I wasn't trying to get hit with that. I was so on point with my defense and boxing so pure. I don't know if he did hit hard or not because I wasn't trying to find out. I
Yeah.
don't know. Did I feel anything? No, during the fight, I didn't feel no power at all, because I was so focused on not getting hit and making sure I got out the way. So I don't know if he hit, but I know it was my fight with Lucas Matisse was a little tougher
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I was actually at that fight. Yeah. Yeah, it was a tough fight.
Yeah, oh man, the crowd was kind of quiet a little bit. Then when I mustered it up a little bit, they like,
Yeah.
oh yes, yes, kind of
Mhm.
quiet. Then got quiet. Then yeah,
Yeah,
that was
we
a
didn't
tough.
know we didn't know all that cramping was going on in there.
Yeah, buddy, I can. But what you gonna do? You gotta be a professional. So you in the fight.
Yeah.
One thing about boxing, you can't say tag you it. Come on in for me.
Mhm.
You were in there, and
Yeah.
you got to get the job done. I don't care who, what, when, what type of excuse you make. When you in there, you got to go get it.
Yeah.
Period. Your mental got to go get it. So I knew that for a fact that I had to dig deep and go get it.
Mhm. Yeah. So and now you at the peak of your career. Now you experienced the injury during a sparring session, and what happened during that session, and how did that affect you moving forward?
Yes, yes, yes. That was during the Marcus Banana fight actually. So when I got elbowed, so I was sparring, I was getting ready for Marcus Medina, and one of my sparring partners elbowed me in the nose,
Mm.
and I was like, damn, that hurted. So I kept at it, kept at it, kept at it, kept at it, and a few days go by. Naturally, I'm thinking, not even my nose, it made me stopped up a little bit. So let me just go get some nose spray, clear it up. Nothing should be wrong. It wasn't sore. It was kind of sore, but I didn't think nothing of it. It wasn't sore to where I couldn't keep training and keep um, going at it and getting ready for Marcos Medina. So um, fight came. My nose was still kind of swollen, and and I couldn't breathe at all. It was like real stuffed up. No matter what I did, it just kept getting stuffed up, kept getting stuffed up. And I knew I was too close to the fight to call and cancel the fight. So I just went through it, got the job done with Marcos Medina. A week after that, I'm thinking, okay, maybe let's check it, see if it go away. It didn't go away at all. So I called my coach Kevin. I said, "Man, something wrong with my nose. I don't know what it is. Something wrong with my nose." So he said, "Okay, let's make an NT appointment." I made an NT appointment. Went in. At first, my doctor looked up in my nose with some tweezers and said, "Up, that thing is broken." Yep, and scheduled me for surgery, prep me, yada yada yada. Before then, and this is my first surgery. This is my first ever experience with surgery, medicine, whatever. Cause I'm a clean cut kid. I'm a person that never smoke, never drink, always just a clean cut young man. And surgery came. He said, "Look, Devin, I want you to go and get your meds right now, a day before the surgery, and then take them home and have them at home for when you're ready for them." So okay, did as planned, did it. Surgery came, surgery went well. Woke up, doctor said it wasn't. My nose was not broke at all. It was a blood clot in my nose,
Mm.
and I'm glad he got it out. But he misdiagnosed me. Like
Mhm.
literally, he said it was broke, but it ended up being a blood clot. I'm glad it wasn't broke though. Ultimately, um, so after that, I went home, took my medicine as prescribed, and then I can feel myself. Like a week went by, I could feel myself just taking the medicine just sparingly,
Mhm.
just just I was just going to the bathroom, just pop. Oh, ain't no big deal. Let me just pop it real quick. Then a week went by. Oh, let me pop another one. Then I ran out. Then I called my doctor. My doc I said, Doc, hey, I ran out of meds, man. My nose still kind of messed up. All right, champ, I'm sending it in right now. So, and around this time, around about 2 or 3 months, I can see myself being stupid. I can literally tell myself, talking in third person, Devin, what the fuck is you doing? What are you doing? What, like, literally, what are you doing? You know this is bad. You know this is not gonna. And this is my first time experience with any type of anything. Devin, you know this. You know this is bad. You know what you're doing is bad. What are you doing? Then listen to my third person. So 6 months down the line, doc called a doc, and doctors, and I blame them, to be honest, they got some fault in this, because if they would have stopped me that third month
Mhm.
and said, okay, Dev, that's enough. You should be clear. Let me send you some ibuprofen. Let me send you something a little more lighter.
Mhm.
Nope. Here you go, champ. Oh, champ is you? Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you. Here you
Mhm.
go. I'm sending it in. So 6 months went by. Still, I can just feel myself being stupid. Like, Devin, what is wrong with you? And a year passed. I realized this hawk got me. It literally got me. I'm losing fights that I was supposed to win. You know, I wasn't myself. My coach was like, "Man, Dad, what's wrong with you? You all right?" I wasn't the same person at all, and everybody can tell. Me, I was in denial. I was in denial, not lying to myself, saying, "Oh, I'm good. I'm straight. I ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong." So I was in a whirlwind with this thing. If anybody would have told me Devon Alexander would have been addicted to anything, I would look, man, you out of your damn mind. I don't even touch the damn Tylenol. What the hell wrong with you? But somehow it got me. Somehow that hawk still was able to penetrate me and get me, even though I never touched a drug a day in my life, ever. So I knew his number guy. Me and my wife was sitting in the bed,
Mhm.
and we was eating food or whatever. And somehow I woke up with ambulance in my house. Ambulances. Uh, uh, I'm like, I said, babe, why the fuck is these people in my house? What are they doing here?
Mhm.
She said, baby, you passed out. I
Wow.
said, huh? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And during this time too, Keith, man, my wife knew what was, and she was saying, Devin, you probably need to stop. Devin, please stop. And and to this day, I apologize to her because I was making her feel like she was the problem.
Mhm.
I was making her feel like, what are you talking about, baby? You know damn well that I just had surgery. My nose is hurting. So what are you talking about? I made her feel like she was crazy or she was just bothering me. And I
Mhm.
really hate that still to this day because I really was making her feel like she was the problem when it was just me all along. And she was trying to help me in the process. But once you going through that garbage, you don't care. You don't care about you get lazy. You don't think about nobody's feelings. You just there. And so one day I woke up, ambulance in there. That baby, you passed out. Huh? We went to the doctor. Wife, wife already had the clinic ready. She said, Dad, baby, we got to go. We got to go. We got to get some type of intervention or whatever. So that scared me straight. That literally was the reason why I stopped taking those pain pills because I knew for a fact there was number God that's telling me to stop. and then I have my family and my kids to look forward to. And another thing, I was going to these classes, and I was just sitting in this room, and I was just thinking to myself, how the fuck did my life change from being a world champion,
Mhm.
HBO, Showtime, to being in a room with some people that's been addicted to heroin for 30 years. Some people that got a couple of people over here nodding off. I said, man, I'm looking around like, man, you ain't gotta worry about me no more. You ain't gotta worry about me no more. And to this day, because I'm a private person,
Mhm.
but and I was very reluctant on coming out telling the world what I was going through. I was very reluctant because I'm a private person and I do not like to put my business, none of them. I don't like my family, I don't like my kid, none of that. I mean, and it, it was the best thing I could have did. I'm glad I did because I have helped so many people with their addiction. Because when you're in it, and I get it, and mind you, I was one of those guys that was saying, why would anybody want to take anything that will alter their personality? Why would anybody want to be zonked out, nodding off? Why would anybody keep taking something that just have them like messed up? I was one of those people that didn't understand that, and I
Mhm.
found and I found myself on that side, and I get it. I totally get it. What they're in a battle. It's a battle where if I stop taking it, those withdrawals gonna be the worst thing that ever happened to them, and that's why they go and they relapse. And
Oh,
on the other hand, I don't want to stop because they probably dealing with so many things, so many trauma, all that, and they trying to mask it. So me, I tell people whenever they people coming to me and I get inboxes today, how did you beat this hawk? How were you able to get from under this hawk? Because I'm stuck. I can't do nothing.
mhm.
I tell them first it was my family. I looked at my family. I said, "Oh, hell no! I got my wife, my kids. Oh, hell no!" And I tell them I had something to look forward to. I had a career. I got a career that I can go back to and make $500,000 if I
Mhm.
just say that's enough. So that was more than enough incentive for me to say, okay, I'm not, I don't even like drugs anyway. Somehow it got me though. Somehow I found myself in this spiral thing with these drugs. I found myself in it. It got me, and I tell people today, if it can get me,
Mhm.
ain't nobody exempt. I don't. I never touched a drug a day of my life. Never drunk alcohol. Never drunk, smoked weed. Nothing. If it'll get me, it will get anybody. So I
Mhm.
tell people just to be careful and stay away. Just stay
Mhm.
clear of it, man. Because if it can get me, it can anybody. But I'm glad I came out with it. I'm glad I told people about what I was going through because I have helped more than over 100 people, chatting with them, talking with them about what they're going through and helping them. So I'm glad I did come out with it.
Yeah, man. Your testimony, and your story gonna continue to help. I believe it's gonna help a multitude of people. The more visible that you are and your story is out there, I believe it's gonna help a whole lot of people who are looking for that answer to come out of that. How did you do it? You know, uh, and you have incentives, to look forward to. And we all have incentives to look forward to if we dig deep enough. God
Mhm.
has a plan for all of us on this planet. So uh, I believe that's really gonna help a lot of people.
And two, Pete, when I was going through it, I started doing research. I started doing, small things. And There are NFL players, NBA players, pro athletes everywhere dealing with this. They're just not going to come out and say it.
Mhm.
They're not going to make it public about what's going on. But they say there is more than over 1,000 athletes dealing with this. They're in this spiral of
Mhm.
drug addiction, but they're not going to come out and say it. And I can believe that because some have inboxed me about, damn, well, how did you beat this
Mhm.
hawk? So it's a lot of athletes, well-known athletes, that's going through the same thing. They're just not going to come out with it and say it.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I believe that everyone has a purpose in life, and sometimes fulfilling one leads us to an even greater one. You are now in a bigger arena, making a difference in communities. So, can you share with the viewers, man, what you're currently working on and what you've been doing?
Well, yes, man. So when I was a kid, man, I used to ask. I prayed to God, man. I prayed to God to, and I used to pray to him every night, man. I said, God, if you ever get me out of this poor state that I'm in, I'm gonna come back and help these kids. I'm gonna come back and help so many people. So many. I don't think I said kids. I said I'm gonna help so many people. If you let me be one of those people that be in a position to help, I'm going to help. I'm going to come back. I'm going to help. God did that. He facilitated that. So the type of mindset I'm in is right now is it's time to help. God did that for me. He somehow said, okay, he helped me get in the position. He helped me get a platform. I got a platform where people listen to what I'm saying because of what I've done. So guess what? It's time to use that for the greater good of God. And God is looking and seeing, you told me if I get you
Mhm.
here, you're gonna come back and help these kids. And it frustrates me too sometimes that when people ask me, Devin, why you want to leave that raggedy ass city, man? That city ain't nothing but killing and this and that. My thing is, if everybody that make it thought like that, who's going to come back and help these kids? Who's going to come back and show them how to do it? Show them or speak life into them, speak positive things, and how? Who's going to do it? Nobody. If everybody that makes it
Mhm.
and make a little bit of money thought like that, who's going to come back and help these kids? Well, it's not going to be me, buddy. So I said, I ain't leaving nowhere. I gotta help these kids. If I move to Vegas, those kids in Vegas not gonna be able to benefit like these kids in St. Louis for what I've been through. Cause though that's where I grew up. I know that area. I know what they're going through. I know for a fact what's happening with these kids. I know for a fact some of these kids don't eat at nighttime. I know what they going. I know what that feels like. I know what these kids feel like when they got no shoes. They got to go to school with Payless shoes, and their shoes is talking. Their shoes is messed up. They need clothes, and they got to share clothes. Like me, I had to share clothes. My brother and them. If we wear something, we had a system. Me and my brother and them. If we wore a pair of jeans, we got to wash them for my brother next time. And I gotta wash mine for my brother next time. We had a system. Drawers too, socks too. So we had a system. And I understand what these kids are going through. I get it. I understand. I'm not gonna leave them because yeah, I think I'm on certain status, or you think because it's a lot of killing. That's the problem. That's the problem. They need positive male role models to look at to actually see, okay, he came, wow, he did, whoa. Because every time I go talk to a school, in a school, and I tell them about my story, I tell them how I grew up. See, they see me in this form right here.
Mhm.
But when I tell them about this, how I grew up, how I, sometimes I didn't eat it sometimes I was messed up as a kid. After I get done speaking, you can bet for sure a couple kids gonna come up and ask me, "Hey, Mister, did you really not eat sometime? Did you really not did you really not have no good shoes? People really talked about you for real?" Yes. Yes and yes. Because they can see themselves in whatever I said, they can see themselves. And that's why I do it. And that's why I'm starting my non-for-profit, the Devon Alexander Foundation. I'm not leaving these kids. Even if I didn't have no platform, in my heart, I always wanted to give back to these kids, and I get it. Everybody don't have that. Everybody like, man, forget them damn kids. You know, everybody don't got it, but
Mhm.
somehow God gave it to me, and I want to make sure I help these kids as much as I can, when I can, and I want to be there after I retire. You're gonna be able to find me with some kids, helping some kids, motivating some kids under my foundation. And that's what I'm doing right now with the foundation, trying to help these kids, trying to do what I can to give them something positive. You know, I get it. I know I'm only one person. I can only do so much, for kids. But I'm gonna try my damnedest to do what I can to use my platform to help these kids.
Yeah, there's no there's no age on hope. You know, when you plant, even in kids, when you plant a seed, you'll never be surprised how that seed will grow up in that child. And they look back and remember. I remember when such and such told me that, hey, I can do this, and I can. They went through this. They went through the same thing I went through,
Mhm.
and you never know what greatness is coming out of those kids. You never know who they're going to become. So
Mhm.
definitely appreciate that, man. And you're a true champion in the ring and outside the ring, and we appreciate you, man. So how can people get in touch with you on your social media platforms?
Yes, yes. You can find me I'm on Instagram at dalexander1, and then because Devin Alexander was taken already, so I had to go with dalexander1. Um, and on Facebook you got Devin Alexander, and Twitter you got the real Devin A on there, and I got a YouTube, but it's not whatever. It's another subject, man. But man, you go work on that, Keith. Man, you go work on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But um, and yeah, just then I got my foundation page that I'm about to be building. I got an Instagram foundation page too as well, the Devin Alexander Foundation. Um, but just and you guys can reach me on there. I answer all emails because I always feel like if the fans not interested in you, you can't become who you are. You can if they don't buy the tickets. If I got a fight and they don't buy tickets, it's gonna be an empty house. So that's why I always say I'm gonna answer to all text messages. Not hate, not now. I do get some hate stuff. I ain't answering that, but I'm gonna answer. The regular person that people think I wouldn't answer to. I'm gonna answer to all of them. So hit me up on there because I am a people person. I am a loner by default though. I'm a loner. I don't like to be around a big crowd. Uh, always been a private person. Uh, but as of right now, I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone and get out here in the community and start mingling with the community because I gotta help that. That's how you gotta help. So I gotta tell them what I'm doing and get out here and get my hands dirty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go, viewers. Welcome to SP Fanatics, and we have her, Devon Alexander, the rise of a champion. Check him out. Hit him up on his social media. Support what he's doing. He's doing a great thing in the community. We appreciate y'all, and we appreciate you, Devon.
Oh, my gym too. My gym. I am building a new gym over in North County which is much needed. Everybody know North County got a lot going on. And the address is 1826 Chambers Road. When I first announced I was opening up a gym in North County, St. Louis County Police Department inbox me, say, "Hey man, hey, when are you open at? When are you, please hurry up, because that's going to help a lot of kids." I know for a fact that building that I'm working on is going to help a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
What on Chambers? So is that what area? Does Chambers run a long way now? Is that near
West
Ferguson?
Forest, West Forest. Yep, Ferguson by Delwood area. Yep, it's right
Oh
there.
yeah. It's much
If
needed.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you get off at 270, you make that right at West Forest, and you go down and make that left on Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be to the right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
nice, man. It's gonna be a nice facility. Um, you know, it's hard getting help sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta do it yourself. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I just thank God that I got the building, and these kids are gonna enjoy the building for sure.
Like they say, man, build it and they will come.
Yes indeed, and I'm building. Don't you guys worry, kids. You're gonna have somewhere safe to come.
That's amazing, man.